Can we do a little quick recap here? I know we have recapped right here in this metin, a quick review that is for a few minutes. These numbered lines. Some of this now, if I repeat it, I think should be so clear to you because it's been repeated. أبدأ بالحمد مصليا على محمد خير نبي أرسلا. I start with the hamd, making salat on Muhammad, the best prophet ever sent. وذي من أقسام الحديث عدة. And these are some of the divisions of the hadith counted. وكل واحد أتى وحده. And every kind of hadith came with its example. With its definition, or an example. Sometimes he didn't give a definition, sometimes he gave an example. أولها instead of the definition. أولها الصحيح وهو ما اتصل إسناده ولم يشذ أو يعل. The first of them is the sound hadith, and it is that which connected, its chain connected, and what it was not irregular, nor was it defective. يرويه عدل ضابط عن مثله. It's narrated by an upright, precise narrator from someone like himself. معتمد, and he's reliable. في ضبطه ونقله. Reliable in his accuracy when he has the photographic memory, and reliable in his documentation when he has excellent record keeping, even if he doesn't have a photographic memory. وَالْحَسَنُ الْمَعْرُوفُ طُرْقًا وَغَدَتْ. And the fair hadith is the one with known pathways and became رِجَالُهُ, its men became لَا كَالصَّحِيحِ اشْتَهَرَتْ, famous, but not famous like the men of authentic narrations, of sound narrations. That's the author of Bayquniyy's definition of Hasan. It has a better definition, which is, it is the hadith that fulfills it fulfills the lowest conditions of acceptance. The biggest difference between it and the authentic hadith being the accuracy of the narrator, not the connectivity of the chain. It has connectivity. So Hasan hadith and Sahih hadith, they both have connectivity. They both are free of irregularity. They both are free of defect. Effective, obscure defect. And they both are narrated by someone upright, and they both are narrated by someone accurate. That's an alternative word for precise. But this is where their difference is. One of them has higher level of accuracy than the other. So the one with the high levels of accuracy is the Sahih hadith, meaning its narrator has, or narrators, its narrators have the high level of accuracy. That's the Sahih report. And the Hasan report, its narrators have the lower level of acceptable accuracy through their documentation and record keeping, not their memories. We don't rely on their memories, we rely on their record keeping. The other ones, we can rely on their memories. He says, وَكُلُّ مَا عَلْ رُتْبَةِ الْحُسْنِ قَصُرٍ فَهُوَ الضَّعِيفُ وَهُوَ أَقْسَامًا كَثُرٍ. And anything that falls short of the level of fairness, Hasan. Husn. Husn is the attribute of the report, of a Hasan report. If a report is Hasan, that's because the report has Husn. As if to say, if the report is fair, it's because it has fairness. If it is hasan, it's because it has husn. So anything that falls short of the level of husn, of fairness, then فهو ضعيف, then it's weak. وهو أقساما كفر, and it has multiplied in divisions. It has multiple divisions, multiple. Multiple because when you take the 5 conditions of acceptability, when you remove one of those 5, any one of those 5, then you have a weak hadith. But replace that one, but remove a different one, then you have a different kind of weak hadith. Yani. You have connectivity. And uprightness, accuracy, lack of irregularity, and lack of obscure defect, an effective obscure defect. So if you take out one of these, then that's one kind of weakness. But if you have that one, but take out a different one, that's a different type of weakness. Or you have that one, but take out another one, that's a different kind of weakness. Like that, then you'll have different kinds of weaknesses, but it doesn't stop there. You might have 2 missing conditions. Now that's another kind of weakness. And which 2? So you can have, Yani, how many combinations here? 10? 5 times 2? Or more than 10 combinations, just the 2? Any 2? Any 2 missing ones, that's each one of those is another kind of weakness. Now, what if there are 3 missing? That's another kind of weakness. But which 3? You have combinations. Therefore, the weak hadith has multiplied. فهو ضعيف وهو أقساما كفر. It's weak and it is of multiple categories. Number 6, وما أضيف للنبي المرفوع وما لتابع هو المقطوع. And whatever is attributed to the Prophet is marfu'. That's half a line. وَمَا لِتَابِعٍ هُوَ الْمَقْطُوعُ. And whatever is attributed to a disciple of the companions is maqtu'. That's half of a line. وَالْمُسْنَدُ الْمُتَّصِلُ الْإِسْنَادِ مِنْ رَاوِيهِ حَتَّى الْمُصْطَفَى وَلَمْ يَبِنْ. And the musnad is what has connected chain from its narrator back to Al-Mustafa without severance. From its narrator back to Al-Mustafa without severance is a musnad. So musnad hadith is a prophetic hadith with a continuous chain. We're not talking about whether it's authentic or not. We're just talking about its attributes of being, number 1, a prophetic hadith, and number 2, having a continuous chain. Then it's called musnad. وَمَا بِسَمْرِ, I usually translate that as linked. Linked. وَمَا بِسَمْرِ كُلِّ رَاوٍ يَتَّصِلْ إِسْنَادُهُ لِلْمُصْطَفَى فَالْمُتَّصِلْ. And anything with that by the hearing of every narrator, its chain connects back to Al-Mustafa, then that's a muttasil, connected, a connected report. Then what's the difference between muttasil and musnad? He says the musnad hadith is the one with the connected chain from its narrator back to Al-Mustafa without severance. And then he said, and whatever was heard by every narrator and it has a connected chain back to Al-Mustafa, then that's called muttasil. So it looks like here that the author of the Bayquniyy poem defines musnad and muttasil the same way. What is the difference between them? We'll have to review. مسلسل, I'm on line 9. مسلسل قل ما على وصف أتى مثل أما والله أنباني الفتى كذاك قد حدثنيه قائما أو بعد أن حدثني تبسما. مسلسل, the series. Say about it. It is what came with the description. Like. So that's a very vague way of defining it. It has better definition than this, but I just want to do quick review with you here. Musalsalun, kul, the series, say about it. Ma ala wasfin ata is what came with a particular description. Mithlu ama wallahi ambani al-fata, like, by God, the youngster informed me. The lad informed me. Meaning every narrator says, by God, the lad informed me. From Fulan who said, by God, the lad informed me, for example. كذاك قد حدثنيه قائما, or every narrator says, he told me the hadith standing. Yeah, and so when you receive it like that, then what you're going to do, you're going to teach it, and because you want to be part of the succession, you're going to do like that and stand up and then narrate the report, and then you're going to be continuing the series. Sometimes when there's a series in the chain of the hadith, the series is only for part of the chain, not the whole chain. So the series can get interrupted or can develop. Yani might start off without that series and then a series develops in the chain, or could have a series but then the series dissolves. The succession, the repetitive behavior of the narrators might dissolve. أو بعد أن حدثني تبسم, or for every narrator to say, after he told me the hadith, he smiled. So this musalsal took up 2 lines. Explaining musalsal took up 2 lines. عزيز مروي 2 أو 3 مشهور مروي فوق ما 3. So in the poem you will find that some hadith types are explained in half of a line, and some of them are explained in a whole line, and some of them, a whole line, I mean the front part and the back part. The 2 pieces is one line together. So one, in some kinds of these hadiths here are explained in one half of the line, the first half or the second half. And some of them are explained in one whole line, the first half and the second half together. And some of them are explained in more than one line, whether the addition to the line is a whole line or not. Sahih hadith is explained in 2 lines. Hasan hadith explained in 1 line. Weak hadith explained in 1 line. والمسند المتصل الإسناد من راويه حتى المصطفى ولم يبين, that's a whole line. وما بسمر كل راو يتصل إسناده للمصطفى فالمتصل, that's a whole line. مسلسل قل ما على وصف أتى مثل أما والله أنباني الفتى كذاك قد حدثنيه قائما أو بعد أن حدثني تبسما, took 2 lines for مسلسل. عزيز مروي 2 أو 3, half a line. Aziz, the rare report or the supported report, is the narration of 2 or 3, says the author. This is disputable. If you don't remember, review your lessons. Yeah, if you've been taking notes, hopefully that's going to be better than just listening to the lesson only. But if you don't take notes, how are you going to review the lesson? In the recordings? Sometimes I don't put the recordings actually, and sometimes I delay the recording. And sometimes I forget even. And then because I have too many recordings. مشهور مروي فوق ما ثلاثة. The mashhur is the narration of more than three. This is also disputable in the Bayquniyy poem. That Aziz is the narration of two or three. Well, the Aziz is the narration of not less than two. So, two or three is not false since it's the narration of not less than two, while the mashhur is the narration of more than three. More than three starts at four. So that's, yeah, the reliable, famous standard is that mashhur starts at three, not more than three. معنعن كعن سعيد عن كرم. The معنعن hadith takes up half a line. Is like saying عن سعيد عن كرم. ومبهم ما فيه راو لم يسم, also half a line. And the ambiguous or the vague report is what has in it an unnamed or an unidentified narrator. And you can see here some hadiths, their categorization, they are categorized under what focuses on the text. And some types of hadith are categorized under what focuses on the chain. And some kinds of hadiths focus on the text and the chain. Mu'an'an is about the chain. Aziz also is about the chain. Mashhur is about the chain. Mubham is about the chain. Musalsal is about the chain. Marfu' is not about the chain. It's about the source, where it came from, the prophet, or what it's attributed to, rather. Maqtu' is not about the chain. Sahih is about the chain and more. And Hasan and Da'if are about the chain and more. Musnad is about the chain and the text. وكل ما قلت رجاله على وضده ذاك الذي قد نزل. And the more a chain has fewer men, the higher it is, and its opposite, that's the one that goes low. So the high narration is what has fewer men in the chain. The low narration is what has more men in the chain. So this is about the chain. And higher doesn't mean better or more authentic here. It's about the numbers of the narrators in the chains when you compare them. وَمَا أَضَفْتَهُ إِلَى الْأَصْحَابِ مِنْ قَوْلٍ وَفِعْلٍ فَهُوَ مَوْقُوفٌ زُكٍ. And what you attribute to the companions, whether a saying or an action, is mawquf. It is known. Took up a whole line, and it's not about the chain here. It's about the attribution of the report, attributed to a companion. And if you understand these kinds of hadiths, then you can also see that the Bayquniyy poem is slightly disordered, slightly out of order, could have a better order. Like to put what's in this line 15 closer to line 6. Line 6 talks about what's attributed to the prophet and what's attributed to the disciples of the companions. So what about what's attributed to the companions themselves? That appears in line 15. So It's better if it's closer to those so that you don't break the concepts here apart. Keep the close concepts closer together. Also, when the author of the Bayquniyy poem talked about Marfu' report and Musnad report and Muttasil report, these three, it's possible to give these three a better arrangement also. How? Review the lessons if you want, or just study, review, and then you'll see what's disordered here. There's something slightly disordered right here at this spot between lines 6, 7, and 8. ومرسل منه الصحابي سقط وقل غريب ما روى راو فقط. The mursal, the released report, is that from which a companion was dropped out of the chain. So this is about the chain. And the definition here is inferior. What's a better definition? Review. And say, وَقُلْ غَرِيبٌ. غَرِيب is مَا رَوَى رَاوٍ فَقَط. Is what a narrator, only a sole narrator narrated, only. That's about the chain too. وَكُلُّ مَا لَمْ يَتَّصِلْ بِحَالِ إِسْنَادُهُ مُنْقَطِعُ الْأَوْصَالِ. And anything that doesn't have a continuous chain at all, then it's severed. So this is about the chain. And it took up the whole line. وَالْمُعْضَلُ سَاقِطُ مِنْهُ اثْنَانِ. And the problematic report, or the exhausting report is the one in which two consecutive narrators are dropped. That took up half a line. وَمَا أَتَى مُدَلَّسًا نَوْعَانِ. And whatever came rigged is of two types. الأول الإسقاط للشيخ وأن ينقل عمن فوقه بعن وأن. والثاني لا يسقطه لكن يصف أوصافه بما به لا ينعرف. So for the rigged report, the mudallas report, the author took up 2.5 lines. وَمَا يُخَالِفْ ثِقَةٌ فِيهِ الْمَلَى فَالشَّاذ. And whenever a trustworthy one is contrary to a group of trustworthy ones, فَالشَّاذ, then that's irregular. So that took up more than half a line, but not a whole line. وَالْمَقْلُوبُ قِسْمَانِ تَلَى. And the maqlub report is of two divisions. إِبْدَالُ رَاوٍ مَا بِرَاوٍ قِسْمُ وَقَلْبُ إِسْنَادٍ لِمَتْنٍ قِسْمُ. Exchanging one narrator for another narrator, maqlub means flipped. Exchanging one narrator for another narrator is a division, and mismatching the texts and chains is another division. So maqlub took up a line and some more than a line, less than half. A line and less than half of a line. And this still deals with the chain, replacing one narrator for another, or mismatching the texts and chains on purpose to test the scholar. وَالْفَرْدُ مَا قَيَّدْتَهُ بِثِقَةِ أَوْ جَمْعٍ أَوْ قَصْرٍ عَلَى رِوَايَةِ. وَعَلَيْكُمُ السَّلَامُ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ. And the unique report is what you have restricted it to someone trustworthy, or to a group, or to a town Yani, there is a narration reported, and this narration is unique to a town, or unique to a group, or unique to some individual. He took the whole line to explain here, to talk about or dedicate a whole line to al-fard, and he didn't cover everything that's called fard. And here he separated the fard report from the gharib report. Fard report here is line 23, while the gharib report is... Where is that gharib report? Didn't we mention gharib already? Well, where's gharib hadith? So we talked about how gharib and fard are similar in recent previous lessons. وما بعلة غموض أو خفى معلل عندهم قد عرفا. That took up a whole line. And what has an obscure defect or a hidden defect is mu'allal, defective according to them. That's known. So that's not about the text per se or the chain per se. وذو اختلاف سند أو متن مضطرب عند أهيل الفن. And the report that has variance in its text and its chain, irreconcilable variance, that is, it is muttarib, clashing according to the dear people of this field. والمدرجات في الحديث ما أتت من بعض ألفاظ الرواة اتصلت. So, variance in the text or the chain, this muttarib, so it's not about the text or the chain per se. والمدرجات, number 26, amongst the hadiths is ما أتت من بعض ألفاظ الرواة. What came from the words is something in the hadiths that originates from the words of some of the narrators, inserted into the hadith by accident. وما روى كل قرين عن أخيه مدبج فعرفه حقا وانتخيه. That's as far as we reach today. Line 27, and takes up the whole line to explain this type, mudabbaj. Now you know what that is. Wallahu a'lam, we'll stop there.